to another episode of St Vincent Untold Stories.
On this episode, we look at Nicholas Height, aka Nicky, aka Father H. Father H was one of the youngest top shotters to pass through St Vincent and the Grenadines. Just imagine being in your teens and handling thousands of dollars. H grew up in a poor family and he hailed from the community of Sandy Bay. Unlike some privileged youths around the communities, each had to go to the bush to plant the green substance in order to get monies to go to school. One time, there was a presentation, and a teacher by the name of Miss Debnat asked all the students what they wanted to be as a career choice after they finished school. Father H said that he wanted to be a Rastafarian. Back in those days, a lot of the Rastafaris used to make a lot of money. And remember, I told you they had gold chains with a pendant as big as a barrel cover. So back in those days, each and some smaller boys used to journey to the bush in Duvally. I think that walk is much further than the Lasso Freya Trail. The Rastafarian community is known to be a loving community, but there were some men who thought that they could use the ghetto youths. So it had some who used to take the youths into the bush, and they would make about 100 to $200,000, and they would give the youths a little $2,000, a little $3,000, and the only thing the youths could buy was a shoes and two pair of suits. And remember, I told you back in a previous episode that many of the youths preferred to go to bush with men like Ras Carlos, who dealt with them fairly. So they got more than the $2,000. Some of them got 15,000, 20,000, and so forth. And they bought a lot of second-hand vehicles, a lot of gold chain, and a lot of gold bangles. Sometimes when they did not make any money, they would trade the items in places like Stubbs and Diamond, and they would get some old set, some televisions, and so forth. Big ups to all of my subscribers. And if you are new to the channel, please remember to hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the bell icon if you wish to see more videos like these. There was a time when the green substance was illegal and it used to sell faster than any hot bread anywhere. Men journeyed to St Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, Grenada, and Barbados. The bravest of the bravest journeyed to Barbados because it was the most riskiest country of them all. You see at Untold Stories, we knew Father H very well. And oftentimes he would joke around, saying that he was going to be the Pablo Escobar of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. After finishing school, Father H went into the mountains with some other Rastafarian brethren. Then he decided to cultivate the green substance on his own, but he had to find a market, and he decided to go to St. Lucia to sell his first crop. When H went to St. Lucia, some Lucians tried to trick him. They told him to pass the buckets and they would bring back the money. But H was well educated. He knew that if he had done that, he would lose everything. So he said, no, put me up in a warehouse where I can sell the substance for myself and I give you a percentage. So the Lucians decided to help him out. You see, Father H wasn't taking any chances. So he traded one of the first pong for a popo in order to protect himself. One might ask, well, Untold, how do you know about that? Well, at the time when H went to St. Lucia, I had a friend who went with him as well, who had lived in Vieux-Fort. But that friend had returned early after going to a party in the Vieux-Fort area, and Popo started to beat out. Tack, 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 tack. and a Rastafarian who was well known in the Viewfort community was spread out. But because some Vincies were there, they started to call out some men name, and that friend had to return immediately to the shores of St Vincent. Back in those days, St Lucia was hotter than the Lassafre volcano in St Vincent. Popo beating everywhere. Even the Lucians had to run to our mountains for survival. All the green substance that Father H went with got us sold out. And he came back home with a big gold chain, a luga, what we call a one pop. When he returned, things was nice again. It was as if Christmas was all year round. Everybody that Itcher met, he asked them what they wanted to drink. He bought Campari, he bought Hennessy, he bought Guinness and other drinks, and he would make sure that the DJs were nice. When DJs like Fugitive showed up at the Hagol Disco in Sandy Bay, they felt as if they were treated by one Pablo Escobar. And news started to speculate that a Rastafarian from the community had robbed some Lucians, that he had put watergrass inside some sacks and sold it to the Lucians and got all the money. You know what we refer to as watergrass? The things that animal eat at the side of the road. Yes, man, the sheeps love it. So he placed some of the green substance on the top and he put watergrass below. Boy, the Lucians were angry. They said that any other Vincentians that came to St. Lucia to sell the green substance, that they were going to take it away. You see the man that put the watergrass inside the sack? He went to buy a big car immediately. He flossed and he flossed and he flaunted. He threw money all over the dance. A second time he tried it again, but the Lucians were ready. But he was ready for them as well. As soon as he passed the sacks and they handed over half the money, they tried to grab onto him when they smelled that it was not all green substance. But he had grease on top of his body, so he whined out of his clothes and escaped into the shadows. But one of the Lucians was like a hung. He sniffed him out and he took off his belt. Swag, 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 swag. And the man ran into the bush and ran for cover and he screamed. But you see, he knew the bush more than the Lucians as it was in his background, so he escaped. It is alleged that Father H and some other men did not pay that any mind because they knew that they were doing honest business. So Father H used some of his money that he made from the first time to purchase some green substance from some other Rastafarians around the community. And he did just that. And he went up on a boat. It is alleged that the men they were doing business with said that Lucia was very hot. So they would do the exchange on top of the water. The allegations are that when Father H and the other men handed over the green substance and it was time to pass over the monies, the men refused. And they decided to rinse out the machines after Father H and the other men. Tack, tack, tack. And men jumped overboard. And some of the things are connected on some of the men. The ones who did not pick up any of the tax could not make it, as the journey was too far to swimming to Lucia or to swim back to St. Vincent. The allegations are that there were some other men from other countries on the boat because the green substance was so good that they had scheduled it to go far up. Presently, in this 2025, there has been no sighting of Father H and the other men who went on the boat. So, family members had already put in condolences. So, at Untold Stories, we want to say condolences to Nicholas Hoyt, aka Father H, and the other men who went on the journey. H would be missed in the community of Sandy Bay. I told you, even big DJs like a Fugitive normally speak his name when they are doing tributes in dance at places like Choppy Seaside in Sandy Bay. But Untold Stories want to tell youths that type of life is not easy. You might be the honest one, but you might be dealt an unfair deal. So we are begging the youth once again to try to stay away from that type of lifestyle. Over the years, men have gone missing from Barbados, Martinique, St Lucia, St Vincent, and so forth. All they wanted to do was create a chance in life, make something of themselves. And the green substance is a lot of hard work. People think that it is easy money. Sometimes you have to be in the bush for all 6 months, planting, cultivating, and protecting the green substance with your life. Big ups to all the Rastafarian brethren who went through it. We know the struggles.